Hello and welcome to your reading for November 2019. This reading is going to primarily focus on personal growth and accessing messages from your soul, but I'll also cover things like love, career, body and spirit before we dive deeper. Now, if you're new here, my name's Nina. I'm a Cartomantic life coach. If you like this video, hit subscribe and the bell button, and also hang around for the end because I'm going to tell you how you could get a free card pull. So without further ado, let's get started. Okay, I have drawn the cards. I tuned myself to each of these objects, and in a moment so will you. But before we get on to that, I'm just going to draw one more card, and that will be the theme for this month, a theme that unifies us all, that will just slightly influence each of the readings. And I think the nice thing about that is that each of us is a soul seeker on a journey, and you wouldn't be here right now if you weren't on that journey. And since we are all on that journey together, one of these cards is going to be the unifying theme for November across all of the readings. Ooh, okay, I'm getting a strong pull on this card, and it is Temperance. Very interesting. Balance, trying to find that balance in life. What a beautiful card to find as a theme. Take a moment to focus on it and see which elements of it stand out to you. Notice how the woman in the picture is holding a sphere, and within it there is equal parts fire and water, two elements that ordinarily would never be able to be combined. But she has the magic, the alchemical magic that you also possess, of being able to synthesize these two disparate elements, and those two elements temper each other into perfect harmony and balance. That is the theme of this card. That is what this month of November has in store for us. It is about tempering the extremes by bringing different extremes together and finding a middle ground. It is about synthesizing different aspects of your life, your career, your home life. It's about balancing things. That is what this card is going to say for us for the month of November. So, are you ready? Get yourself comfortable. If you need to grab a drink or grab your notepad to write some notes in, now's the time to do it. You can always hit pause and come back. So get yourself comfortable and get yourself ready to relax. In a moment, you are going to choose your cards. It's time to become attuned. Awaken your senses. Notice for a moment how your body feels. Take a deep breath and slowly on your out breath, relax your shoulders. Relax, relax, relax. Take another deep breath, and this time let your eyes relax. Your jaw relax. Relax, relax. Here is a wooden ring. Imagine how smooth, how round, how warm it feels in your hand. How does it smell? Breathe in. Imagine the scent of the forest. Imagine how it tastes. Be one with the ring. Wood resonates with you. You are wood. Here is rose quartz. Imagine how cold, how rough, how smooth it feels to touch. Breathe it in. Imagine the scent of the mountain wind. Imagine how it tastes. You are one with the crystal. Crystal resonates within you. You are crystal. Here is a seashell. Imagine how prickly,
how textured, how varied it feels in your hand. Breathe in the scent of the sea. Hear the waves washing it ashore. Imagine how salty it tastes. You are one with the seashell. Seashell resonates within you. You are seashell. Take a deep breath. And as you breathe out, let the intensity of sensation subside. Feel your heartbeat. Feel your body again. Is it tense? Is it relaxed? Whatever you are, it is okay. Observe without judgment. Simply be. In a moment, you will see your options. Ask yourself aloud if you can, what is my soul telling me about November 2019? Close your eyes. What is my soul telling me about November 2019? Now open your eyes and take a deep breath. Choose your reading on your out breath. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. You've now tuned into your reading. If you felt a pull towards more than one, that's okay. Sometimes we just need to know a bit more. And you might find that as the readings go, one of them will resonate with you more, or perhaps all of them will resonate, and that's completely fine as well. Alright, let's get started. So it seems that the spirits of the forest have brought you to this reading. You chose the wooden ring, and if you've noticed that I'm wearing something different, it's because I had to cut the recording short. It was getting late, but the cards are exactly the same as the ones that I drew that day, so I've kept the cards intact. Okay, so here we have Temperance, which is the overall theme for this month, and in addition to Temperance we have the 9 of Cups. Very interesting. This is a very fortuitous card for you for November. So the 9 of Cups is about wishes coming true. It's about feeling contented, feeling a sense of abundance, not the kind of long-term sense of fulfillment that you might get from some of the 10 cards, but a slightly more short-term feeling. But nonetheless, I think this would suggest that for this month at the very least, there is plenty to be grateful and happy about, and it is a card of gratitude. And if you look at, there's this merman who's swimming with lots of fish. I think it's also a very social card. It can be about family. It can be about perhaps somebody in the family has had children. You may have become an auntie or an uncle or a grandparent. It could also be about community. So if we combine that with Temperance, I think this becomes quite interesting as your personal theme for this month, because Temperance, again, is about balancing and it's about synthesis. So perhaps, and we'll see what the rest of the cards say, but perhaps it's suggesting that what areas of your life, different people that you have in your life that bring you happiness and joy, could you bring together, could you synthesize? How could you balance the way that you spend your time with different people so that it brings you greater happiness and joy? And remember, this is also a card of gratitude. What sort of things have you got, what people in your life have you got that you are truly grateful for? And what kind of alchemical magic could you create if you express that gratitude? Now, let's move on to the kind of spread for the month itself and what's coming up for you. What sort of things does your soul want you to think about, or what might be expected? And the first one I'm going to do is love. So the first card we have got here is, ooh, the Hermit. So quite a journey. It's quite solitary, which is an interesting card to find in a love context. And so I've got a second card that's going to give us a little bit more information. The Six of Cups. So kind of looking back to the past, to your childhood. In terms of this kind of soul-seeking card of the Hermit, when it comes to love, it could mean that really you are finding more and more that you have been turning towards yourself and looking at kind of going on that journey for yourself and examining what you bring to a partnership, which does bring you ever closer to having love and fulfillment. And perhaps something happened to you as a child, maybe your relationships with your parents were difficult, or perhaps a parent passed away, or maybe even it was a positive experience, something that you remember very fondly. You may have, maybe you remember how in love your parents were, or your grandparents, or some other people in your life, and that you want to have some of that warmth and that love in your life as well. But whatever it is, there is something in your childhood that is waiting for you to unlock with the power of the Hermit, the work, the inner soul work that's waiting for you, that is really going to open up deeper and greater possibilities for love for you this month. This is a very deep but positive spread here. Okay, so far lots to be grateful for, very kind of alchemical, everything's working for you. So let's have a look at how you are going to be doing career wise. Wow, really, the world, you are on top of it. Goodness me, this month is really auspicious for you. You are on top of the world. You have completed a cycle in your career, and things are going well for you. Okay, we have another card, Daughter of Cups. So very there is that sensitivity, the creativity that is inherent in this card. There is some real beauty there. You are emotionally in touch, and you have come to almost like the end of a phase in your career, but it's not that kind of moment where you're ready to move on. It's that kind of moment where you're standing on top of the world thinking, this is great. I can do all these things, and I'm really giving it my all, and I'm getting so much back. And I don't mean financially. I mean, maybe you are getting things financially, but it's, you might be getting other things back, skills, sort of community, love, in terms of collegial love, and just very positive. Wow. Let's have a look at what's in store for you, for your body. So, Princess of Cups. I mean, I am blown away by this. How positive is this? And okay, there had to be one. We've got the Ten of Swords. We'll get onto that in a minute. So Princess of Cups is the sort of card that suggests very stable, your feelings are very rational and very much within your sphere of control. I mean, I don't mean the kind of control where you grasp onto emotions and you don't let them flow. It is a very different kind of control. It's the kind of control you say, yes, I will open the taps. I'm not going to let them pour out and flood everything, but neither am I going to let them run dry. My cup is full. My cup is full, and it is okay for it to be full of whatever it is that I'm feeling. A kind of acceptance, if you will, of your emotional world. And the way that would, I would view how it relates to the body is that you're finding a place where, when it comes to your body, you have accepted a lot about yourself. You maybe, and if you haven't accepted it yet, then certainly these cards would suggest that this month is the time to find that inner peace and inner balance. And I think this would echo quite well with the Ten of Swords, sorry, which is a card about really a drama. Okay, drama is happening, and look at this ox being stabbed with 10 swords. There's pain there, and maybe physically you have had some suffering up until this point, or maybe you have been punishing yourself. Maybe you have been punishing yourself physically, not been in a good place, and you want to come out of that. You want to come find peace, find acceptance for what is, and just simply be. Let your body be as your body is. Because the thing about the Ten of Swords is that the drama partly is also of your choice. And I don't mean that in a kind of, you shouldn't be so dramatic, or oh, it's your fault. That's not what I'm talking about. It's just having that awareness that sometimes drama can be really fun. Okay, sometimes drama is just, we get caught up in it. Okay, and that's okay. That happens. But take that step back and look at it. Think about, this is my body, and what have I been doing to my? So for your spirit, okay, let's pause a moment. The Tower. You are going through an amazing transformation this month. Wow, the spirits of the forest called you here, and this is where you are arriving this November. I'm overwhelmed with emotion for you. This is so beautiful. Let's have a look at the next card. Ace of Swords. That is just so perfect for the Tower, because the Tower is about that lightning bolt striking that tower, and you find a whole new level of clarity. Over the course of our life, we build up beliefs, truths, if you will, about the world. And we always, in a sense, we're always approximating reality. Reality can be very elusive, and I know that for the realists out there, you'll say, oh no, there is a table and it is real and it is measurable, and I understand that. That's not what I mean when I talk about reality. What I mean is, things like it is bad to do X, or it is good to do Y, or all people act like this, or any kind of little rules. And because that's how our brain is made up. We kind of categorize things, and we find rules, and we find comfort in the rules. And then every so often something comes along that just blows our mind. That lightning bolt of clarity goes, and it's just, it awakens a whole new world of possibilities. And it can be upsetting because the tower is crumbling, and you were holding on to that tower. You wanted it to be true, and it was comfortable. It was something you knew, and now it's falling apart around you. But it's the start of building an even more beautiful and closer to the truth tower for you, okay? And the Ace of Swords is just such immense mental clarity. And to find this in your spiritual world, this November is going to be an enormously transformative month for you. I am so happy for you. Look at this. We have Temperance, this alchemical magic that you're able to undertake. The Nine of Cups, gratitude for all the blessings you have in your life. You're going on a personal journey, looking into your childhood, that's going to bring you ever greater love in your life, whether that's to attract a new person because right now you're not with someone, or maybe you're not looking for someone anyway. In that case, self-love can be the journey you're going on. In fact, I think that probably is part of this. Or if you're already in a relationship, finding that self-love, looking at your childhood, is going to give you so much, because you're going to be a more fulfilled and happier partner, and that's going to lift some of the burden that is currently on the partner that you have to kind of make you happy, if you know what I mean.
And that's just true for all of us, because there are times when we rely more on our partner and at times when we do that less, and sometimes we're the rock, you know. And then for your career, you're on top of the world, you know, you're in touch with your feelings. We have the Princess of Cups, there it is. You are accepting what you are physically and being at peace with it. That is just wonderful, leaving the drama behind. Okay, maybe it's only for a month, but this month it's going to be drama free for you. You're going to be in that place of acceptance. Whew, I mean, wow, beautiful, beautiful spiritual transformation. Now I do have some more cards here, and these are about what your soul wants you to do this month. Okay, what does your soul want from you this month? And sometimes that might be wanting you to not do anything. You might be a break. So let's have a look. Oh wow, I mean, the Eight of Pentacles. You're going to be a busy bee, aren't you? You have so much going on. The Eight of Pentacles, if you look at it closely, it has got a spider on it with a web that this spider is weaving. This is about craft. Maybe you're just coming to the end of, let's say, university. Maybe you're just coming to the end of some sort of course. It can be literally sort of studying and learning new things. But equally, you know, during our careers or even at home, we are constantly acquiring new skills. You know, whether that's, you know, maybe you're a very good cook, but now you've decided to start learning more about how to cook Japanese, or you know, perhaps this is an expression of the craft, like maybe you like painting and you're going to take that to a new level. But this card very much is saying your soul wants you to craft, your soul wants you to develop those beautiful skills of creation, of building something. Okay, and we're going to have a look at what more is said about this, because these cards are going to give us information. There is something at the moment that's holding you back from doing this thing that your soul is saying to you. And the first obstacle is, oh, okay, it's the Son of Swords. That is so interesting. The Son of Swords is really decisive and just going for the goals, just going for them without any hesitation, you know, just completely driven. And maybe this is who you've been, you know, that could be it. Maybe you have been so driven in your life and really going for it, and you're on top of the world now. You know, you've achieved that, but maybe that being so driven is not giving you the time you need to pause, look at, you know, some materials that you could study, take time to craft something. Maybe you have been, you know, if this was cooking, for example, maybe you have been cooking, you know, 30-minute meals. Quick, let's do the quickest meal I can do. And not really taking the time, you know, to every so often. It doesn't have to be every day. You know, it could be every so often, just cooking a really wonderfully crafted meal. And maybe that's going to take you an hour. Maybe that's going to take you an hour and a half. But if that gives you joy and that makes you develop those additional levels of skills, just building that mastery, that could be really wonderful for you. This is what your soul is saying they want for you, okay? So, the other thing holding you back, there's a secret. There's a secret. This is the Seven of Swords, and there is somebody. You are either hiding a secret from yourself, something you're not willing to look at, you've just hidden away from yourself, or there is someone in your life who is deceiving you. And this person, whether that's you or someone else that is deceiving you, is holding you back from this craft. Maybe you think you are learning from someone, but actually they're not giving you all the information you need. You know, maybe have you ever come across those sorts of courses where you do a course, but then it turns out that wasn't the full information and you need to buy the follow-up course, and then when you do that wasn't actually the complete information, you need to buy the next one? Maybe there's something like that going on, something of that ilk. I'm trying to think if I can think of an analogy with the food. You know, have you ever found, you know, when you buy recipe books and it's almost like there's a really important step missing, like some sort of
secret thing that they do, and it's just not there, and you can never make that food the way that it is, and then you just happen to come across something somewhere else, like, oh, you should cook, you know, this at a certain temperature, and you go, that's it, that's the thing, and they didn't tell me that. You know, maybe it's something like that, something that's holding you back, where you feel like there is something being hidden from you that is stopping you. Now, there are 2 more cards, and they are going to show you what is going to help you do what your soul wants you to do, what is going to help you craft. So we have the Hermit again. Wow. So we have, you know, the Hermit here, and I do read the Druidcraft Tarot, which is the Hermit that we drew for love, and the Wild Unknown Tarot, which is the Druid that we have down here with the 8 of Pentacles. I do read them differently, okay, slightly differently, and the Hermit here, I think within this reading, really says this is about you finding time for yourself, okay? And I think that fits very well with the Son of Swords. There's kind of a nice synergy there, right? The Son of Swords is going bam, 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 no time, no time, no time. And the Hermit says, slow it down, slow it down. And the final card is the 9 of Wands. Okay, that's interesting. You know, actually, I'm starting to think you have been crafting. You have been crafting, of course you have been. But there is a part of you that is not quite willing to commit to that extra step, because it just feels, you know, if you look at this, just look at this, and there's this ladder, you see the moon up in the sky, those are your hopes and dreams, this is where you want to be, okay? And you've climbed a mountain, and there are just these final few steps, but my goodness me, do they feel like they're far away, because you've already been on a long journey and you're tired, okay? You have, you know, Son of Swords again, bam, 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 you're doing all this stuff is happening in your world, you're working so hard, you're working. These cards are saying, pause, slow down, take that moment, it's okay, take it one step at a time if you need to, but you can climb up that ladder, and that dream is just within reach, it's just there, you can almost grab it, it's right in front of you. And I know that it feels like it's a far way away, because there are 9 steps to take, and 9 steps right now is going to feel like a lot to you, but you can do it. You know, in a sense, think of everything same as what says here. Look at your childhood, look at the past, look at what you've already done, what you've already achieved. You have taken already 1,000 steps, and just these last 9 steps are waiting for you. Isn't that terrific? Isn't that immense? Wow, what a month November's going to be. A total transformation. I'm just going to take a moment to come back to the theme for this month, Temperance and the 9 of Cups, because it's very social, and see if there are any other links that can be made, particularly on this bottom row where we have the 8 of Pentacles. In terms of crafting, I suppose the question is, what can you build in your life that relates to those people in your life that you love the most? What can you build in your life for your family, for yourself? And is there a way for you with that alchemical combination to do something really special that involves the people you love and yourself, and sort of bringing a lot of different things in your life together, you know, because you are going to go through this, wow, beautiful transformation spiritually. You're going to be at peace physically, you're on top of the world financially, or at least career-wise, and you know, you're going to bring out that self-love in there, in yourself. And you know, with that revisit to childhood, I'm starting to think there's maybe a sort of a family theme here. And family, you know, I know for a lot of people that means blood relatives, But if, you know, if either your blood relatives are not around, or you just don't want to be in touch with them, or for whatever reason that's not appropriate, remember that family is also the people of your choosing, okay? You can have family that isn't about blood relatives. You decide who your family is. And when you think about those people in your life that you consider your nearest and dearest, what is it that you could alchemically craft for this month of November, okay? I'd love to know. So, you know, if you know what this is about, leave a comment. I'd love to hear from you. But otherwise, I just hope that this has, you know, inspired you to carry on this path that you have set out for yourself. You are amazing. I am so impressed by this. So carry on, you know, have this transformation. Now, I'd like to remind you to subscribe and hit the bell button to be notified of my next video, if you're so inclined, but also hang on, if you either skip or hang on to the end of the video, I'm going to say how you can get a free card pull as well. So just wanted to remind you of that. And now it's time for me to move on to the next reading, which is summoned to us by the spirits of the mountain. So the spirits of the mountain called you here, and you drew the rose quartz, and our theme is Temperance, so we'll in a moment see the card that modifies the theme for you. If you're wondering why I'm in different clothes, it's because I had to cut the previous recording short, but the cards are exactly the same. So without further ado, you have the Hierophant as the card that sort of modifies the theme for you. Now, the Hierophant's about tradition and structures, and perhaps traditional sort of structures for learning, so schools and universities and that kind of thing. It can also be a card about family or gaining a mentor for kind of furthering that growth, accelerating your growth. And in terms of that mixture with Temperance, I guess it's a very interesting thing to see how that's going to combine. Perhaps this is suggesting that to examine the things, the structures in your life, the traditions that are helping you to kind of build and create, balancing different things, drawing on past experiences, something along those lines. And we will know more once we've laid out some of these other cards. So let's have a look at love for this month. And to start with, we have the Eight of Swords. Okay, whew, wow. So this would suggest that you feel trapped right now, and when it comes to love, you feel like there is no way out and that there is danger all around you. And let's have a look at the extra card that we have for this to tell us more information. We have the Three of Swords. You've been hurt, or you're about to get hurt. Certainly there seems to be pain in relation to love here, maybe pain of betrayal, or you might have been hurt by some words that were spoken unkindly, intentionally or unintentionally, but I feel like in combination with the Eight of Swords, it suggests that right now maybe you're not in a very happy place when it comes to love, that there is something going on that is giving you a lot of grief in your life. And if you see this woman in the Eight of Swords, she has a blindfold on and she has ties around her, and she's actually behind her back, she's actually holding the cord that can pull those restraints off her, and so she could take the blindfold off and find a way forward. Okay, so this situation of being trapped, it's a card that reminds us that even when we feel trapped, often there is a way forward that we are just not ready to see yet. I'm gonna leave it at that for now. We might come back to that as we see more of the reading unfold, because I feel like we need some more context for this. So career-wise, we have, wow, the Ten of Pentacles. You have done so well. this suggests you are currently in a state where you are building a legacy. You're probably thinking about what you're going to be leaving to your children, or maybe even grandchildren, or at the very least, you know, if you're not at that stage, or you chose not to have children, you might be thinking about what legacy you leave the world. Let's have a look what else we've got. Wow, the Mother of Pentacles, so nurturing. What a wonderful combination. So when we look at this career-wise, because this is of course with the career related aspect, we can see that you have perhaps you are like the mother of the office, if you know what I mean. You have people often in those sorts of environments that take on a lot of the nurturing and look after other people, and this suggests that maybe this month this person could be you. You might be organizing something nice, perhaps an event, or maybe you notice that everybody's feeling a bit gloomy lately, and you go and you do a cup of tea round or something for everybody. But whatever it is, you are being a very nurturing person in that work environment, and you are reaping rewards, plenty of rewards for that allow you to leave a legacy for your children, for your grandchildren, for the community, for the people around you, for your loved ones. So, career-wise, you seem to have it all together. We have for your body the Featheralt, which is in tarot also known as Temperance in other decks. And so this is about alchemy. This is so interesting. So for your body, physically, you are creating alchemical balance this month. This card would suggest that that's what you have either been striving for and you're going to achieve this, or if you've not been striving for it, then perhaps this is a good time to start. And we have Judgment. Now, Judgment isn't, people judging. Judgment is the opposite. Judgment is kind of like hope. It's the relief of not needing to feel judged, not needing to feel guilt. It's the freedom that you achieve when you stop judging, okay? So perhaps this is about you stopping judging yourself and going, you know what, I'm going to create this balance in my life. I am going to take opposing ideas, fitness and food and sort of, health concerns and medication that I'm on. I'm going to take stock of everything and kind of alchemically bring everything together in a whole new combined way that is going to do my body better, okay? I'm going to get myself into a better place, and I'm going to do it from a position where I've got no sense of judgment. I'm going to rise above that. And if you notice in this cards, there are other birds there, okay, that are also flying to the sky. So you don't have to do this on your own in this journey. Maybe you could join a group. Like if you've always wanted to do weight loss and you think that this is maybe a time when you want to incorporate that into your routine, and you have some ideas about how you might do that, but you want some additional support, then by all means join one of those groups. We have for your spiritual card the Five of Cups. How very interesting. You've been looking to the past a lot, haven't you? Or if you haven't yet, then it feels like this month of November is going to be the sort of month where you'll be looking back, and perhaps with regret, perhaps with a sense of sadness. And notice how there are 3 spilled cups, and this person is feeling very sad and depressed about the fact that there are 3 spilled cups, completely failing to notice the 2 full cups that are sitting right behind them, okay? Because they're so focused on the past, they can't see the fruits that are coming to them in the future. And we have, we have the 6 of Swords here. So this really does suggest, and particularly if I look in combination with 8 of Swords, it feels like perhaps what is going on in your love life right now, that's going to be affecting you spiritually. I think that there is a sense of being trapped, there is a sense of being hurt, there is a sense of regret and loss. And what this card is saying as the 7 of Swords is that there is light at the end of the tunnel, there's a rainbow on the other side of the clouds. You need to take time to rest, revitalize. If there has been a battle, you can't go into the next battle straight away. You need to take time. Otherwise, if if you keep trying and trying and trying so hard, you're going to burn out. You're not going to have the energy. You're not going to be able to move forward. And I think there's a sense of, maybe you feel a bit sorry for yourself at the moment, you know, and I think having that moment where you kind of go, oh, poor me, it's not necessarily a bad moment. We need to feel that way sometimes, because sometimes we are dealing with grief, we are dealing with loss, things are falling apart around us, and we need that. But there comes also a point at which we need to start moving forward, and maybe you're not quite there yet. Maybe you need a little bit more time to rest and revitalize before you can go forward. And that is part of your spiritual journey right now, is you need to go, okay, stuff happened and it wasn't good, and now I need to just center myself, do meditation, focus on processing the stuff that's happening in my life. And maybe it will be hard for you because of this aspect that's to do with your love life. Now, one thing I would say about this is that, as I mentioned with the cords and the blindfold, being able to take them off, that can be hard, okay? So don't judge yourself for not knowing what next step to take, or being afraid to kind of accept that you have control over this situation. That is a scary thing, but it's not a thing of blame, okay? It's not your fault. We can be, people end up in abusive relationships in a pattern over and over again, and they ask themselves, well, why? Nobody wants to be in an abusive relationship, okay? Nobody, oh yeah, for the next partner, I'd really like to have an abusive one, please. No, that doesn't happen, okay? So if you are in a situation like that, it is definitely not your fault, but you might feel that way because of the pattern repeating. And the thing to realize is that a lot of what we do in life is a program, and until you realize what the program is and what is causing that program to happen over and over and over again, it is like we have no control over it. So you see these swords, the 8 swords that are there in the floor. Think of them as programs. They are programs that are holding you in place. And if you can find that moment where you just release those knots, take your blindfold off, and really look at what is happening, and figure out what those programs are, and that requires spiritual inner work, then you're going to see a way forward. And sometimes we have to make a decision that is hard. You might be facing a dilemma. You might be facing I don't want to be unhappy in my relationship, but I know I'll be unhappy without this person in my life as well, and the breakup and everything else. And that's a really difficult decision. I'm not going to say to you what you need to choose. The cards aren't saying that you have to choose. They're just telling you that this is what is kind of you're going to be the state of things in November. Now, already we've gone quite deep, deeper than I thought we would on sort of the more peripheral stuff, but we're going to go a level deeper, which is to look at what your soul is telling you need this November. And I'm hoping we will gain some interesting insights there. So we have the 4 of Pentacles. Sometimes people call it the greed card, as in, trying to hoard things. But it doesn't necessarily have to be interpreted that way. It can be, saving up. So I'm not entirely sure what exactly your soul is telling you, whether the kind of your soul is saying, you know what, you shouldn't give so much. Maybe just hold back a little bit. You've been giving so much all the time, or spending so much all the time. And I don't mean necessarily in financial sense, although it can be. You need to start saving, you need to start reserving, but it could conversely mean the opposite, which is that you've been holding on to too many things and not really living life and enjoying it. So let's have a look at what the blockers are to what your soul is saying you need, and that will give us an idea of which way it kind of is inclined. So this is the 9 of Cups, which is a card of kind of abundance, not long-term abundance in the way that the 10 of Pentacles is, but a kind of a more, for the next month or 2 or 3 months, a feeling of contentment and satisfaction, gratitude. Your cups are full, you're kind of doing very well, but it's a blocker, so that's interesting. And then the next blocker is the 3 of Pentacles, which is this sense of there being an overwhelming obstacle in front of you. And the interesting thing about the Three of Pentacles is, if you look at how they're connected on this card, it's really a suggestion that you can overcome this obstacle, but with a little bit of teamwork. You know, you don't have to climb that mountain alone. There are people who can help you. There are people who can guide you. There are people who can carry some of the weight on their shoulders, you know, because carrying a tent and you know, all the food supplies and everything else, it's a big burden. So, you know, a burden shared is a burden halved. So if we read that in the context of sort of whether you're holding on to something or should be holding on to something, that's what your soul wants. I mean, it's interesting that there's this sort of sense of abundance. So maybe it's what it's saying is you should actually hold more back. Maybe you've been spending too much. Maybe you've been filling these cups, these 9 cups. You've been filling other people's cups, and that becomes an obstacle for you. You feel like you want to create this sense of abundance, but maybe it's kind of more of an illusion. Okay, maybe this isn't a true sense of abundance in the way that you would feel when those cups are full for you, from a spiritual perspective. These cups are artificially full because you want to keep them full, and you're depleting yourself. Okay, so that your soul is saying, don't spend me on everything all the time. I need you to hold some back for you, because you need some of your soul too. Okay, and you feel that's hard because there is this mountain of work in the way. And you know what? I understand that. You're in a place of sorrow right now. You have lost and you have regrets. And there is stuff going on with these, you know, in your love life that is, because it could be just you processing things in the past, or maybe this is a situation you're in right now, or something that's coming up in November. But certainly this is relevant for you this November, and that's going to, of course, make you feel like there's a mountain. There is this mountain, but you don't have to tackle it alone. There are people here for you. And it's interesting, I feel like this links with the Hierophant. You know, because the Hierophant it can be a mentor, it can be a coach. And I don't mean, you know, of course, I'm a life coach, so I would say that, but I don't mean necessarily a life coach. I mean somebody in your life who can coach you in terms of overcoming some of these obstacles, because sometimes it just really is hard to get there alone. Okay, now we have 2 cards that will show us some support, and we can find out what those are. So we have the Son of Wands. Wow, you know, courage, energy, inspiration. That you have that within you. You can be that. You know, the Son of Wands is a very charming person, charismatic. Everybody thinks, gosh, they just have such confidence, very magnetic, very attractive. You can be that person. You can be that person. And we have the 2 of Cups as well. So that's a card that suggests sort of love, and the way I see it as well is that it's very balanced. You know, it's love between equals. It could be love in a friendship. It could be love in a partnership. Occasionally I look at it as self-love, but very rarely, I think. And in this case, I think this is talking about those relationships that you have with people that you really feel they love you and you love them back, and that love is kind of on an equal level. That can help you, okay? That can help you achieve this moment where you kind of say, no, my cup needs to fill up too, okay? My soul, I need to save some of it for me. I can't just be giving and giving and giving. Maybe this comes back to this love thing. Maybe this giving and giving and giving you've been doing, maybe that's part of the hurt. You know, sometimes we feel hurt when we gave, but there's no gratitude in return. And what we don't realize is that not everybody wants to be receiving all the time. Sometimes people want to be also giving. Okay? People want that give and take. So it could also suggest that in order to tackle this love situation here, maybe there needs to be more take from your side to bring you back to a level where you're equals, because when you get that disbalance and one person gives a lot more than the other person, that can cause great unhappiness for both parties, okay? Not just the person giving, for both parties. So let's have a global overview. We have Temperance, alchemical, sort of bringing everything together as a kind of theme. We have the Hierophant, so as we said, perhaps this is about finding somebody in your life who can kind of coach you and help you. You know, maybe seeing a counselor, couples therapy, something like that. That might be something for you to consider, because there are people who can speed you through this and make it smoother for you. But it also in relation to temperance, because that's the theme. You think about how you might pull from different areas in your life, different skills you have, different bits of knowledge, everything you've learned up until this point, to kind of create a blend of something new, something you haven't done before. We have an unhappy love situation, but we have a very positive work situation. Okay, so you have that, you know, that is something that can be like an anchor for you in your life. And physically, you're in a point where you can free yourself from that judgment and really start to combine the different aspects of your life in a new way to make yourself even healthier and have more energy, feel better about yourself physically. And that's going to support you when you're tackling with this moment where you need to feel. You know, I want to say one thing actually about this sort of sense of self-pity. Think about the difference between self-pity and self-compassion, okay? Because there is a very important difference there. Pity versus compassion, and how that is different, because you might think on the surface they are quite similar. Both of them are kind of like, oh, I feel sad for this person. You know, if you pity someone, oh, that poor person. Or, you know, you feel compassion, you go, oh, poor person. But there is a difference. And the pity is kind of looking down, okay? It's going, yeah, poor them, but they kind of deserve it, okay? Whereas the compassion doesn't think that way. Compassion is about, there is a person going through a difficult time and I want to help them, okay? So are you in a place of self-pity, or are you in a place of self-compassion? And on that note, I'm going to conclude the reading. Please hang around till the end if you want to get a free card pull. And if you enjoyed this reading, subscribe and hit the bell button to be notified of my next video. And without further ado, over to the next reading. So, my dear children of the sea, you have come to this reading because you chose the seashell. And if you've noticed that I'm wearing something a bit different, it's because I had to cut the previous video short. So this is a different day, but the cards are exactly the same. Okay, so let's start with our theme, Temperance, and see how this is influenced by your specific card, which is the Three of Cups. Oh, I love this card so much. It's basically friendship. You have these three lovely ladies, and they have their cups full and they're sharing, and they're just so happy together. It's a time of celebration, you know, a time of weddings or any other kind of nice occurrences. And if we look at that in the context of temperance, perhaps this is talking about, you know, how you can look at some of those really close friendships you have where you're kind of equals, and bring things together, you know, bring some of those friendships together, maybe do something fun together that's gonna create something new for you. Maybe or consider, you know, are these people that you might want to start like some sort of business thing with? Or, you know, are they people that right now are only in one area of your life, but you'd quite like to do other things with them? So yeah, consider that, and let's have a look at what we get for love. So we have the Ace of Pentacles. Very interesting, very earthy, very homely energy. Also the start of new beginnings. So if you're single right now, this is a fairly positive card. Let's have a look what else it says. Wow, the Eight of Pentacles. You have been working, and you're going to be working on getting more into that love sphere, okay, crafting it. So what does that mean? We have this earthy energy going on here. You're building a home. Look at this spider, this wonderful spider web, crafting that home for her, okay? So you're really nesting, or if not nesting, then you're just getting that home space right and ready for love. You know, that nest is going to be ready for love. And if you're currently in a relationship, then maybe this just means, you know, you guys are sorting some home stuff out together this month. Very lovely. Let's go over to career. We've got 4 of Pentacles. Very interesting. So we might be looking at you saving things and storing them and kind of hanging on to money rather than, you know, spending it. And that can be a good or a bad thing. Let's have a look at the next card. Oh, the Hanged Man. Oh, definitely. I mean, I would think that this would suggest that this month you're gonna hold on to those finances a bit tighter and maybe not spend things. Maybe you're waiting for something. This Hanged Man is waiting for something, not in a necessarily in a bad way. The Hanged Man waits with serenity, with surrender, and you're not waiting for something in particular. You've accepted the fate that is. Okay, so what does that mean from a career perspective? Perhaps you are in a situation where you'd like to switch careers, but you need to wait for a project to finish, okay? Or perhaps you are waiting for a particular promotion to come up, or there is some kind of waiting involved career-wise, but in a very kind of conscious, yes, okay, I have decided I'm going to wait for this, and I'm going to pull back some of those finances, maybe in anticipation of Christmas, if you were buying Christmas presents. For your body, we have the 2 of Cups. Gosh, okay, that's interesting. So we have a lot of love here. There is somebody in your life that you consider to be your equal who loves your body, okay? And you, let's see, we have the Magician. You are capable of doing anything, okay? Physically, with your body, you can make those choices. You need to figure out what they are. And you know, people talk about manifestations. I don't know if you know what they are. If you don't, look them up. But you can manifest, you know, the health in your life that you want and the love in your life that you want, because you are loved. Your body is loved, and whatever it is that you want for your body, whether that's to be healthier or to have more self-love or just to, you know, keep things as they are, this Magician card tells us that you can definitely do that. Okay, so very good news for you this month overall. Let's have a look at the spiritual side of things. We have the 6 of Swords. Okay, very interesting. So you are going on a spiritual journey, and perhaps in the past few months, you know, last month, the month before, something happened in your life that felt like a bit of a struggle. So you're in this position where you've had a bit of a struggle, and you just need to kind of gather your thoughts and find that space again where you can go, okay, how do I feel about this? What is going on in my life? Where do I want to go with this? And then, you know, slowly that journey's going to start carrying you through those waters. And they may be slightly murky waters, but they're going to get clearer. At least I think they will. Let's have a look. Okay, yes, so the past has indeed affected you. We have here the 8 of Cups, and the 8 of Cups shows us a situation where things kind of didn't work out. You know, you have experienced failure, and I think you are trying to make up for that. You're trying to fix something that broke. In this case, though, it really is beyond repair. It's beyond repair, and this card really encourages you to just go, you know what? I'm not going to do that, because I have other things that are just over the horizon. You want to go on that journey. Don't hold back. Don't try to fix the things. Don't, you know, there was this struggle, there was this failure. It's in the past now. It's over. It's finished. The only reason why it's not fully finished yet is because you're still holding on to that a little bit. But it looks like you're ready to let go. Okay, so letting go, that's your spiritual message for the month of November. Let's go just that little bit deeper and look at what the message is from your soul that's saying, this is what I want you to do this November. So this is kind of a plan of action from your soul that's saying, this is what would be beneficial for you. The Knight of Wands. What a lovely card. So the Knight of Wands is a very courageous, sort of risk-taking, daring man who will just go for his goals and, you know, there's like inspiration, creativity, really wonderful energy to it, and your soul is saying, have a bit of that. Take some risks, be decisive, at least take the first step, you know. That's what this card would say. Take that step, take that first step. And we'll look at what we have in terms of blockers, and I'll come back to the Knight in a moment. So, ooh, the Mother of Swords. Do you feel like there's somebody in your life who is watching you and judging? Just going, and really not liking it? And does that bother you? Because this suggests it is a blocker for you from actually doing something in your life that could be good for you. You know, this is your soul is saying, I want you to take action. I want you to take a step towards your goals. And this person's going, not going to work. I'm watching you. I'm judging you. And you're thinking, ooh, I don't want to be judged by that person. You know, what if I make a misstep? That's going to make you doubt yourself. But this person, they're not looking out for your interests, okay? We have the Daughter of Wands, which is another blocker. Interesting. Do you feel like things have gotten a bit complicated? Like you've kind of lost overview a little bit, and you're kind of like, oh, well, I could step this way, but then that, and then there's this thing, and I'm not entirely sure. Maybe there's a bit of indecision. Let's have a look what the rest of the cards say. So we have the Ace of Wands. This is going to be something that helps you. So we've got 2 blockers and 2 helpers. We have the Ace of Wands. This is such a beautiful card for you, full of energy. It's saying yes. This is basically, this card is shouting yes, yes, yes at you. Do it, do it, do it, do it. Have that courage. Take the first step. Bring the energy, the inspiration. You have it all inside of you, and this card is like going, yes, do it, do it, do it. So this is a really kind of, you know, I mean, I can feel it. It's like radiating in my face, going, yes, do it, do it, do it. And then the next helper, okay, very interesting, the 2 of Swords, okay? So remember when I said about feeling like you can't decide? That's what this card is about, okay? So there's like, maybe you have like 2 options, you know, either you do A or B, and they both look equally good, or they both look equally, you know, equally risky, and you're just like, oh, I don't know, which one should I take? And you notice that there's like a sun, but the sun is obscured. It's like a solar eclipse. So this light that you need in your life to have that ray of light shine through and help you make that decision, it's kind of covered. So you'd think this is a blocker, but I think what it's saying is that helper would be to kind of just accept that there are these 2 options, and maybe you don't even need to choose. You know, who says you need to choose? How could you make both of them work? How could you make both of them work if that's what you want? Because Knight of Wands, take that first step towards your goals. And I think actually, you know, why don't you leave a comment? You know, show that you are committed to this. If this is what your soul is shouting to you right now, take that first step, commit to it. Write a comment. It doesn't have to be on my YouTube. Do it in a different public place if you want. This is about you saying, I'm committed to my goal this month. I am going to take a step towards what I want. Okay, and the interesting thing about this 2 of Swords, if we combine it with a theme, Temperance, is that those 2 options may seem very opposing and like they're fighting each other, but you know what? Opposites can be blended together into something new and magical that works really well. And you have your friendships, okay? You have people, ask for their advice. What do they think? Tell them, I want to take my first step towards a goal. I mean, you might have already been on a journey already, taking many steps towards your goal, of course, but in that case it's a moment of sort of take stock and then decide what the next best course forward is. And I think this row, it's suggesting to me that you're afraid to take that risk. Okay, you're afraid to take that risk because there is this judgment, this person that's going, I can see you, I see what you're doing and I don't like it. Who cares? Who is that person to you anyway? Is it one of your friends? One of these 3 people? that have their cups full and just share all this flowing love with you? Because I highly doubt it. Who is this person to you? What do they matter in your life? Are they important to you? Why do you want to please them? You know? You have the Ace of Wands. Yes, 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 yes. Do it, do it, do it, do it, do it. Do it. Whatever it is, do it. Okay, and if we look at sort of temperance and friendship and kind of go in other areas, you know, like back to love with the temperance, we have, you know, you building things with the home. So it's, again, it's about very much about sort of creating things, and I think it's interesting that maybe there is, you know, when it comes to balancing things, maybe there is something about focusing more on the home and kind of putting career a little bit to rest, a little bit taking a pause with that. Maybe that's what that sort of balance could be about. We have the Six of Swords, which is your spiritual journey, letting go of things in the past, and then you have the kind of what's coming up for you for your body this month is so positive. You're gonna love your body, well, or at least somebody's gonna love your body, but you are gonna have the ability to do with your body what you want. You can have that magic within you, again, the alchemical balance thing, you know, use that magic, because the Magician and Temperance are very closely aligned, okay? The Magician is creating whatever with whatever elements. Temperance is about bringing opposing things together, okay, things that you wouldn't think to put together. It's about synthesis. It's slightly different, but they're both very potent magics, okay? You have potent magic in your life. You have the Ace of Wand energy in your life. There is so much good coming to you this month, and you can let go of those things. You can let go of this judging person. You can let go of what you're trying to fix in the past, and just take that leap forward. So, as I said, leave a comment here or anywhere else and say, I am going to do X, whatever it is, this month, okay? And it's important to say this month or in November, because that time limit in a public space is going to give you that extra impetus to really make it happen. With that said, just hang on to the end if you want to know about how to get a free card pull, or else hit subscribe and the bell button if you want to see my next video. So without further ado, I am going to put the cards away. So if you're still here, that means that you toughed it out all the way through the video. Thanks so much for hanging around. It's only my second video on YouTube, so I'm still learning loads. I don't know if you noticed there was like banding in the first half of the video. I hope I fixed that now, but I'll need to find out when I see the end result of this footage, which I obviously haven't seen yet. But you're probably here for the free card pull. So what's going to happen is, for the first 5 comments that use a feline animal in them, I will give a free card pull, and you can ask for clarification on any of the aspects of the reading. Could be the theme, could be the love, you know, career, body, spirit, or the soul, what your soul wants you to do. And I'm more than happy for the first 5 comments that use a feline animal to give that free reading. If you have any other feedback, I'd love to hear it, because as I said, this is all quite new to me, or you know, just let me know how this reading, what it meant for you in your life, all this sort of stuff. I'd love to hear it. And without further ado, that's it for today, and I'll see you in the next video.